It is Christmas Eve, 1971. 92 people are on board Lanza Flight 508, departing Lima for the remote port city of Pucallpa. About 25 minutes into the flight, the turboprop enters a massive thunderstorm. A bolt of lightning strikes the right wing, igniting the fuel tank. At 10,000 feet, the wing tears away, and the aircraft disintegrates. 17-year-old Julianne Kupka is ripped from the cabin. She is thrown out into the freezing air of the storm, still strapped to her window seat, plummeting 2 miles straight down toward the Peruvian rainforest. The dense canopy of the Amazon intercepts her descent. The thick network of branches and vines acts as a natural net, breaking her fall enough that she survives the massive impact. Hours later, she wakes up on the forest floor. Surviving a 10,000-foot freefall is a statistical anomaly. But regaining consciousness on the floor of the deep Amazon basin means the immediate danger of the crash has been replaced by a much longer, more agonizing fight. Of the 92 passengers and crew on board the flight, 91 perished in the jungle, including Julianne's mother, who had been sitting directly beside her. Julianne is entirely alone. She takes stock of her injuries. Her collarbone is broken. She has a deep gash slicing into her right arm. One eye is swollen completely shut, and she is suffering from a severe concussion. She has no map, no compass, and no survival gear. She has lost her glasses and is wearing only one open-backed sandal. For rations, she has a single, small bag of candy found in the wreckage. But Julianne possesses a distinct advantage. Her parents are renowned zoologists who operate Penguana, a biological research station deep in this very rainforest. She grew up learning the precise mechanics of this ecosystem from 2 leading scientists. A typical teenager would likely perish here within days. For Julianne, her parents' training turns a guaranteed death sentence into a highly calculated, methodical battle against the wild. The floor of the Amazon is an overwhelming environment. The heat and humidity are suffocating, and the dense underbrush conceals an endless array of venomous insects, spiders, and apex predators. She relies on the first rule her father taught her: find water. Navigating the thick jungle brush exhausts energy rapidly and hides deadly threats like stingrays. Wading through shallow streams is safer, and moving water eventually feeds into larger rivers where human settlements are usually located. For days, she trudges through these winding waterways, following the currents. Her physical stamina rapidly depletes as she rations out her tiny supply of candy. As her sugar supply vanishes, starvation sets in. The jungle is filled with brightly colored fruits and small animals that look appetizing, but she strictly follows a second scientific rule: never consume an unknown species. At one point, she spots a cluster of vibrant frogs. To an untrained, starving eye, they are a vital source of protein. Julianne recognizes them as poison dart frogs. Eating one would introduce lethal toxins directly into her system. The physical lack of calories is secondary to the mental battle of extreme discipline. Her survival depends entirely on suppressing the psychological urge to abandon logic for a quick meal. The most immediate danger to Julianne's life is microscopic. The deep gash she sustained on her right arm during the crash has become severely infected. In the sweltering humidity, flies have laid eggs inside the open tissue. Dozens of maggots are burrowing into her arm, actively consuming her flesh. On her 10th day in the wilderness, weak and battling the infection, she spots a small, abandoned logging boat tied to the riverbank. Inside, it sits a canister of gasoline. She executes a third rule: fear the small things. Remembering her father once using fuel to cure a dog of a severe parasite infection, she pours the gasoline directly into her own open wound. The chemical flush forces the maggots to the surface, allowing her to physically extract them. The next morning, local Peruvian loggers return to their camp to find her seeking shelter. They administer basic first aid and transport her downriver to a local hospital, ending her 11-day ordeal. Julianne navigated the terrain, avoided toxic food, and performed field surgery using the exact biological principles she learned from the jungle itself. Her survival was a calculated scientific execution. Despite the trauma of the crash and the agonizing days that followed, Julianne refuses to view the rainforest as an enemy. She recognizes that the thick canopy of the Amazon is exactly what broke her fall. The jungle caught her. Rather than avoiding the wilderness, she leans directly into it. She earns her PhD in biology and moves back to Peru to take over her parents' conservation work at the Panguana Research Station. She dedicates her career to documenting the region's staggering biodiversity, studying hundreds of local species, from vampire bats to the native squirrel monkeys. The environment that nearly claimed her life becomes the sole focus of her life's work. Over the decades, she lobbies the Peruvian government relentlessly, fighting to protect the Panguana region from the steady encroachment of logging operations and aggressive colonization. Her efforts yield massive results. She secures international sponsors, expanding the protected zone from its original 445 acres into a sweeping 4,000-acre sanctuary. Today, Dr. Juliane Diller still directs the station, standing as a staunch defender of the ecosystem. The natural world isn't an adversary waiting to be conquered. When we take the time to observe and understand its rules, it can sustain us. We have an obligation to sustain it in return. For more incredible true stories of survival and science, hit the subscribe button below.